Hey y'all, it's Dark Sugar Podcast coming to you fresh out the packet with everything black. Dark Sugar. Hey y'all, welcome to Dark Sugar Podcast. It is your host, Kiana, and our topic of the last couple of weeks has been empathy and being an empath. And what's really fascinating about the last several topics that I've done is that I think, the last one was generational trauma. One before that was imposter syndrome. And those two topics are very, very present in my life. Like, some topics I do just as maybe commentaries of worldly things going on, but I'm really thankful that the latest topics I've been doing have been really resonating in my personal life, which I feel like is giving me a deeper understanding and a connection even with you guys. I feel like I'm connecting to the followers and the people who have been reaching out, leaving comments, and really identifying with me, because I hope y'all don't think that the shit I'm posting is just me preaching. It's literally because I'm trying to do the shit myself. Like, I am on this journey with y'all of self-discovery and self-growth, and empathy and being an empath, it honestly, talking about it makes me feel like a psycho. And like, because I think, I don't know if you've seen them. I don't know if anyone, sorry, so many things going on in my head. First of all, I don't know if any of you are into numerology. 1, 2, I don't know if any of you guys have seen the movie The Number 21, The Number 23. Come on, Kiana. I think it's called The Number 23. Shit, I should look this up. But I think it's called The Number 23 with Jim Carrey. And basically in the movie, he just I don't know what, the number 23 is in some book he reads or something, but he starts getting obsessed with it and he sees it everywhere he goes and it drives him crazy. That has been me with empathy and being an empath. It has been coming up every fucking where I go. Every time I talk to someone, I end up talking about empathy or being an empath, or I'm discovering more and more that empaths kind of attract empathic friends. And a lot of my base friends and friends that I've been friends with for years are super empathic. So I'm like, no wonder. So let's dive into it. First of all, what or who or what? What is an empath? How do you know you are one? So first of all, let me say that my mom has always said, like, when she brought me home from the hospital, I had the biggest eyes and I was just staring at her. And the doctor was like, wow, she's like super alert. And if I could and I never described thought of myself that way as an adult, but I definitely can see how that alertness and being able to pick up a lot of cues that maybe other people don't pick up, that has carried on throughout my adulthood. And I definitely think it's a sign of being an empath. So, I have notes. How I knew I was an empath. Okay. Okay. So these are some key signs. 1, I can always tell when something's wrong with somebody, even if you're trying to hide it, even if I kind of don't know you, or even if you think you're good at hiding it, I can look at you and tell like something's off, especially if your vibe changes. Like, if 1 minute I was feeling a certain energy towards you and another minute I'm feeling another, I can pick up on shit. My gut. Empaths have very sensitive guts, and scientifically, wait, what is in your gut? No, scientifically, it's like some enzyme, something is in your stomach that has to do with evolution. Do you guys know what I'm talking? Does somebody know what I'm talking about? Oh, I should have taken notes on this before I started talking. But anyway, empaths are very intuitive, and this quote that I saw on Twitter that I thought was so perfect. It said, intuition is in the gut, anxiety is in the chest. If you're ever confused, which empaths, it can be confusing. We get oftentimes an overload of emotion and it's hard to tell what's my emotion, what is my anxiety, what's my depression, what is happening. There have been so many instances in my life where I have had this, and I'm like, my chest is getting heavy thinking about this gut feeling I have, you guys, because it's so serious that I can't even tell you about the instances because they're that bad. I can't even give you examples. It's that intense. But I have had the most gut-wrenching feelings before weird, crazy, bad things have happened in my life. And it's really, really weird. Now, as I get older, I'm just learning to trust it. But definitely being a sign of being an empath is you feel shit in your gut. You can feel when shit's not right. And that comes to meeting people too. You get feelings about people. You get vibes on whether they're good people or not. Okay, so this definition of an empath has been floating around social media, and I just love it, and it's been really helping me in my self-growth, because one thing that I barely realized about myself is that I like to be alone. I love spending time alone. I like but really it's being able to recharge. And in my life, I've always had something else or somebody else going on where I never had that focus on myself and what Kiana needs. It was always Kiana's needs are last. Whether I'm putting them there or due to survival, I need to put them there. My needs were just last. But finally, I'm in this space in my life where I'm putting myself first, and I'm realizing, holy shit, I like to be alone. I need to recharge. I didn't even say what the thing was, but the thing is that my energy is easily drained, but I like connecting with people, and I do crave connection. And I think people who do need time to recharge, that can be empaths, people who are on the spectrum, people who are introverts, or just anyone who can understand what I'm talking about when I say emotional overload or sensory overload. And you need time to yourself to recharge. And it's nothing personal half the time. Half the time it's for you. So that's one thing. Empaths, I feel like our energy can be drained easily, but we like connecting with others. I call it having a low social battery. And the memes and different things I've been seeing on this are so fucking hilarious, because it'll be someone standing like in a crowd and like fun is around them. They're at a party or something, shit's happening. And then their face is just like, oh shit, like, I need to leave. And that happens to me all the time. I will literally be at a party. I'll be out and about having a great time. Like literally nothing will be wrong. I'll just need to go home. I'll just need to leave. I'm tired. Too many people, I don't know. And that's a reason. Sometimes, when you're in crowds, when this happens, it's because there are too many people around you. Okay. You can feel the energy when you walk in a room, or the energy change when someone comes into a room. So if you've ever came into a room and it's like super, super awkward, or the energy's super, super tense, that you even being able to pick that up probably means that you're an empath. Or if someone walks into a room and the whole energy shifts, the fact that you can even pick that up. Wait, why? What note is that? I don't know. Okay. So I'm trying to think of more empathic things that I did not write down. Oh, okay. So a couple things is that empaths are deep people. And I feel like empaths as a whole need to learn boundaries. One, it's because not everyone's an empath. Oh, this is going into why being an empath sucks. Okay. So I did some notes on why being an empath sucks. And I'm not going to lie to y'all, I recently went into a little depression because of how empathic I am. And me personally, I can see how, because I am such an empath, it made me more susceptible to emotional abuse. And that's just me personally. In my childhood, I personally believe, I'm like going into a lot of things right now. Okay. So before I go into why being an empath sucks, let me just say that currently in the mental health community, there is this conversation of, is being an empath even fucking real? Are you actually an empath? Or do you think you're an empath, but you've been through so much trauma that you're hyper vigilant and hypersensitive to shit? And that's why you notice in the energy in the room, because you're so hyper vigilant and you're so tense to what the reaction of others is that you're anticipating it. Okay. Yes, I can see that, but I can see how you can also be both. I can see how you maybe are just naturally an empathic person, yet you have gone through trauma where you had to use and utilize or not have boundaries with your empathic nature in order to survive. So I think it could be either or both type of thing. And so for me, it's both. I think I was born very intuitive, super empathic. But when I was younger, and in high school especially, I was just a fucking sponge. I soaked up everything. I soaked up so much shit that wasn't mine. So regarding that, yeah, I do think empaths are real. It's a real thing. And then yes, empathy and trauma, it ties together. I can see how. Okay, so being an empath sucks. One reason why it sucks, it's because you have the desire to heal and fix others because you can see their childhood wounds or you can see trauma wounds. So this is really interesting. I don't know if any of you are into tarot cards or different things like that, or psychics or getting readings or whatever. I dibble dabble and I got a reading, and before this reading I knew this, but then the lady who was giving my reading said it and I thought it was so weird, but I kind of realized, oh shit. One other reason why I like being by myself is because I can see people's trauma wounds. And another way of saying that is when I meet people and when I start talking to them and when I build a connection with them, I can see exactly what they need to be fixed. And that sounds terrible because one, I should accept everyone the way they are. Like, yes, we're constantly growing and evolving and we should be wanting to be better and do better, but you should never build a Bob the Builder, like try to makeshift someone. Like, don't do that. One, it's not good for you because it's not out of like true love. And two, that person's gonna feel like a charity case. So like, do not do that. So I realize that I can see people's trauma wounds, and that's some serious deep shit. That's not light. I can't casually tell someone everything that's wrong with them, or I can't like try to love that out of them or away from them. Like I don't know if you feel what I'm saying, but empaths, like, we try to save people. Half the time we want to save people because we wish someone saved us. We wish someone would scoop us up and put us on a horse and just like take us away to our fantasy or whatever we want or how we want to be treated. And we love so hard. So I think that sucks because that's your nature. You're naturally loving. You want to give people everything. You want to give chances. You just want to give. And I'm sorry, boo-boo, but if you're an empath, you can't do that. You have to have boundaries. So it sucks. I feel like I'm the ultimate hopeless romantic because of it. And I have to stop myself, slow myself down. I literally feel like I have issues half the time because I'm like, this is just not normal. Like, how it's just not normal. Okay. A second reason why being an empath sucks. It is so easy to overwork, easily commit to plans, and want to help everybody. And it sucks because, all right, and this is where empathy and people pleasing, they're so close. It's crazy. But I guess I used to, because I'm a recovering people pleaser, okay? Like, I'm really trying my best. I'm really trying to do the work. I understand why I do it, trauma, blah, 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 whatever. But also, I naturally just want to say yes to everybody. I naturally want to be a part of people's plans. I naturally want to help. You want me a part of it. I'm flattered. So of course I'll do, like, there are just so many reasons, like, boom, boom. There are like 10 million reasons of me why to say yes to something before thinking of to say no, even if it's because I don't feel like it or I don't have the energy. That seems weird to me. Like, to just not go just cause, like, what? But yeah, I'm realizing that I can say, hey, let me get back to you on that. Don't, my friend Emma has really been helping me with that. She'll be like, don't say yes right away, because she does it too. It's hard. You want to just be like, yeah, I'll be there, of course, yes, without considering how you feel, your time, your schedule, your energy. And then that ends up you over easily empaths. We easily set ourselves up for overcommitting, because first of all, I don't know if you noticed, but we don't have that much energy for that much, so our schedule can't be that booked up in the first place. Boo boo. Like, come on, guys. Like, it all makes sense and ties together when we really think about it. And I'm like, wow, yeah. So if you're an empath and you have trouble saying no to people, if you're a people pleaser and you have trouble saying no, getting the phrase, let me get back to you, or let me think about it, or I would love to, but let me check my plans before I say yes, let me confirm with you later. Give yourself some time. I remember in therapy, it was a different scenario, but I remember my therapist in college was telling me that. She was like, give yourself some time. Like, you don't have to do it right away. I forgot, like, what, it was like the similar scenario of like committing to plans or committing to something, but she was like, you need to give yourself some downtime to think. Or maybe it was about plans, girl, and I just still didn't really get it. But okay, third reason why being an empath sucks, because empaths can become codependent. Okay, so so I've realized that I have, my name is Kiana. Hi, Kiana. And I have codependent tendencies. And this is a really hard one, because personally realizing that I am codependent, and especially when I'm stressed, so specifically under stress, specifically when I'm not recharged, first of all, I was embarrassed, ashamed, mad, because codependent, that word sounds terrible. Like, I literally didn't think I was codependent until this year, even though now, like, looking at what codependency means, it makes like a lot of sense. But, you know, I can admit that, yeah, there are a lot of good qualities about me, but I can also be very insecure, super needy. I can put my happiness in other people's hands. I can expect a lot from people and then become resentful. I can go on and on and on. Like, there are so many things that, you know, those are codependent traits. So, you know, you put that together with a hopeless romantic empath, that can be a really toxic relationship, you know? Like, empaths, first of all, they like to think that we like to think that we want to change people. Being codependent, sometimes you put a lot of responsibility on other people. You put a lot of what you're searching for, you're putting that on them, and making them responsible for things that you should be responsible for. And that's kind of wanting them to change. So that's not good. Gotta remember that you're only responsible for yourself. Oh my God. Being an empath and realizing that you cannot change people. I didn't even know I had the desire. I'm over here thinking that I'm all accepting and not judging people. No, you guys, sometimes even the people I love and think I accept, I'll catch myself wanting to change them, catch myself trying to save them, fix them. That's out of my ego. That's not out of my essence. That's not out of love. That's out of fear. That's out of stress. Me doing that. I don't want that. I want to be accepted and accept others. That's true empathy. Not wanting to change other people or wanting to fix them. That's not empathy. So yeah, the codependency thing, just red flags, be aware, because true empathy is not codependency. And if you're a natural empath, you can fall in the trap of that, and it can just be really dangerous. And that's another thing, going back to seeing people's trauma wounds and being able to do that. I can become that's where giving multiple chances and confusing being sympathetic and empathetic. Like, here's the thing. If you're an empath, someone might tell you a story, or not. No, fuck that. If you're an empath, you might have a friend, a boyfriend, a parent who has their own trauma. That's not their fault, okay? But their trauma is not a reason to hurt you, manipulate you, push you out of your boundary limits, emotional, physical, financial, whatever. But sometimes empaths, we look at the trauma of the other person. We're like, oh, you should give them another chance. Oh, putting up boundaries would hurt them, and that would be mean. And oh, it would feel like a punishment to them. And oh, they don't deserve that. I don't want to punish them because of their trauma. And da da da. And we don't even know it. Sometimes we also make excuses for them. And it's I'm learning, you guys. I have not mastered it, but I'm learning myself to see, because here's the thing. I can't not be an empath, right? I can't not see your trauma wound. I can't not I may feel it. I may feel the need to fix. I may feel the need to jump in. First of all, I'm not saying don't ever jump in or don't ever give advice or whatever. That's not what I'm saying. You have to ask, one, because the person may not want it all the time. But also, it's knowing and practicing observing. And that's so hard, especially if you love the person that has the trauma wound. Observing means letting that person be. Observing sometimes means maybe you have to set the boundary of not engaging, going no contact. Maybe that has to be the boundary, and you don't want to do it because you're scared, or you're making an excuse, or because you love them, or because or whatever. But it's like trauma, I don't know, like trauma, it explains behavior, but to me it never excuses it. It's just not okay, you know? What else? Okay, so that one was called Don't Sympathize with Red Flags. I didn't say it, but that was Don't Sympathize with Red Flags. If you see a red flag, it's a red flag. Don't sympathize with it. No. Okay, you think... Okay, so oh my God, putting yourself first. Being an empath and putting yourself first is extremely hard. It feels abnormal. I feel like, and because I'm an empath, on the low, I could feel sometimes I feel my therapist judging me. I'm just kidding. She's not judging me, but sometimes I can feel her being like, this girl does not know how to take care of herself. Like, really, you guys, putting myself first and doing things for myself feels so weird. It feels wrong sometimes. Like, I am actively, my life's mission is to have a full daily routine. I'm not even lying. I like thinking of like, if I could explain this to you, okay, I'm gonna tell you guys something. It's really embarrassing, and it's something that I've realized about myself recently because I've been connecting a lot of dots and doing a lot of self-reflection. So when I was younger, and this is up until about a couple years ago, and I'm 26, but I remember specifically when I was younger, I used to like wait around a lot and not kind of like in my room, I never like was fully, and I don't know if I'm going to explain this right, but I was never fully in an activity or fully in a project. I was always kind of waiting for somebody to call me or for my mom to call me or for something to happen and then it kind of got worse when I was in college, and when I would come home, I would kind of just wait for like a friend to call to go somewhere. And then as things started to shift in my life, I noticed me waiting more, and I kind of be like, what am I waiting for? And the more I've done research, it's called codependency fog. And it's where you're so codependent that when you're alone, you literally don't know what the fuck to do. And I think that was definitely a wake-up call when I connected, that dot. But I tied it back to, oh my God, part of the codependency fog is that I'm not used to doing things for myself. I'm literally waiting for someone to tell me what to do, or to have something for me to do, or to be part of something. And I was like, holy shit. So having a daily routine and having activities for yourself and knowing that you're worth that time, you are worth that space, it's insane and monumental. So anybody working on daily routine and self-care and doing things for yourself, and looking at people who are like, yeah, this is just what I do for myself every day, and and yeah, make yourself unavailable. Yeah, from 7 to 9, I'm doing this for myself. I can't talk. From, boundaries. I was always available. I was always available for anybody who needed me. You needed to call. It was like Kiana's always there. And that's not always a good thing, if you know what I mean. So being an empath definitely has its ups and downs. It spins and rounds. Like, it is what it is. But I think the biggest takeaway is boundary and time to yourself. That's what I'm currently working on. I just never knew how much of a game changer that would be for me. But it's really the base of a lot of growth. And being an empath is hard. It's hard out here. It's rough. It's nasty. It's ghetto. It's a lot, but I think it's a gift as well. And as far as empathy goes, we just need to spread more of it, have more of it, cultivate more of it. I'm realizing that empathy is not, it's a very deep, loaded bundle of emotions that we need to practice as humans. It's a weird thing that we actually need to practice and be aware of. It's not natural. And I think we think it's natural, but and when I say natural, meaning that it's like automatic, we don't need to, like breathing, we don't need to practice. It's not like that. There have been so many times where I've tried to show empathy, or I've noticed times where I didn't show empathy, or empathy wasn't shown to me. And there were times where I was like, oh my God, empathy really is the stronghold of authentic connection in humans. If you do not extend with empathy in anything you do, it's not authentic. And we see that in the medical field when doctors do not have empathy for Black women. Not having empathy in the medical field is violent and it's dangerous. We've seen what empathy does regarding race relations. When people do not have empathy for other ethnicities, for other races, it's deadly. It's violent. When you don't have empathy based on color, empathy based on shade, how that changes and switches based on your racial bias, it's violent and it's dangerous. Having empathy, having true understanding, and then that motion for, it just pulls you forward. It just catapults you. And we all need to practice more of it. We need to practice actively listening. When you're engaging in a conversation with someone, show them true empathy. Listen, don't try to change them. Ask them questions. How does that make you feel? Wow, I'm sorry to hear that. Damn, I actually don't know what to say. I've never heard anybody go through something like that before. Wow, maybe don't interject your story. Maybe don't try to change their mind about how they feel about it. When you're listening to a person of color share their story or their racial trauma, listen with empathy, actively. Hear their truth. Hear their story. Don't compare it to something else. Don't minimize it because you're uncomfortable. If you don't authentically connect with somebody, you cannot build. So we're working on building, not fixing, not saving, building, helping, sharing, growing. And in order to do that, empathy is the base. Authentically connecting with somebody on a deeper level. And yes, that takes practice. That takes you being quiet. That takes you spending more time with yourself. That takes you actively listening to others. That takes you setting your ego aside. It really takes you on a whole ass journey if you really want to go on it with me. But it's been amazing. Even when I just took a trip recently and connected with my family in Texas, and I was even talking to them about empathy, and it came up, and it was just really beautiful. It's been coming up everywhere I go, and I'm trying to practice more of it myself. And it's being honest when I catch myself judging, honest when I catch myself side-eyeing or thinking that I'm better. It's, showing true empathy is really looking within in order to be able to see somebody else. And if you're a fellow empath, please cancel that plan, take that nap, recharge, get it together, boo-boo. I don't know how many more retrogrades we got going up, but be safe.